Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Learning English with Podcast Conversation. I'm your host, Tony, and I'm super excited to be here with my co-host, the wonderful Jenny. How are you doing today, Jenny?
Thanks, Tony. I'm doing great, feeling energized and ready to dive into today's topic. And speaking of energy, we have a topic that I think almost everyone can relate to, no matter where you are in the world or what language you speak. We're talking about getting rid of bad habits. It's something we all struggle with, isn't it?
Yes, bad habits. The things we do almost without thinking, that we know deep down aren't good for us, but we keep doing them anyway. I think we all have at least one or two that we secretly wish we could just make disappear, right, Jenny? Like, poof, gone.
Absolutely. It's like you promise yourself, okay, I won't do this anymore. This is the last time. And then 5 minutes later, maybe an hour later, you find yourself doing exactly that thing. It's a very common human experience, a real struggle sometimes. So, Tony, let's start with our first main talking point. What exactly are bad habits? Are they just actions we don't like? Or is there more to it?
That's a great question, Jenny. I think it's more than just actions we dislike. A bad habit is usually an automatic behavior, something you do regularly, often without even realizing you're doing it. It's like your brain has created a shortcut, a default setting, so you just do it. And it's bad because it doesn't really serve your long-term goals or your overall health or happiness. It might even be harmful in some way.
That's a very clear way to put it. Automatic behavior and shortcut. Like, you pick up your phone to check the time, open one app, and suddenly an hour is gone, and you didn't even plan to scroll social media. That's a classic example, isn't it? Or maybe biting your nails when you're stressed, or always hitting the snooze button on your alarm so you're constantly rushing in the morning. It's not just a single mistake. It's a repeated pattern.
Oh, the snooze button. Guilty as charged on that one. It's like a tiny battle every morning, and the bed usually wins. So, yeah, it's not just a one-time mistake, is it? It's something that repeats, often daily, or very frequently, almost like a ritual. Even something like always complaining, or being late for appointments, those can be bad habits too, even if they don't seem as obvious as smoking or eating junk food.
Exactly. So we've defined them, but here's the million-dollar question and our second main point. Why are these bad habits so incredibly hard to break? If we know they're not good for us, if they make us feel tired or stressed or unhealthy, why do we stick to them so stubbornly?
That's a deep one, and it touches on how our brains work. I think a big part of it is comfort and familiarity. Our brains are designed for efficiency. Once a habit is formed, it's like a well-worn path in your brain, a superhighway. It takes far less energy to follow that path than to try something new or resist it. It's the path of least resistance, and our brains love to save energy.
That's so true. It feels easy. It's what we've always done, even if the long-term consequences are difficult or harmful. Take, for example, late-night snacking. You know it's not good for your health or your sleep, but in that moment, it feels good, it's comforting. And it's easy to grab something from the fridge instead of, say, reading a book or doing something healthier or more productive.
The immediate reward. That's a huge factor, isn't it? Our brains are wired for immediate gratification. The bad habit gives us a quick reward, a little burst of pleasure, comfort, distraction, or just a feeling of having done something. The benefits of breaking the habit, like better health or more time, are usually long-term, and our brains struggle with that delay. They want the reward now.
Right. It's like, eat the cookie now, feel good now, worry about the diet tomorrow. It's a very human thing to prioritize immediate pleasure. And also, sometimes, bad habits are linked to stress or emotions. We often use them to cope with uncomfortable feelings. Like, if you're feeling stressed, anxious, or bored, you might find yourself scrolling on your phone even more, or eating more junk food. It's a way to escape from those feelings, even for a moment. And it becomes a comfort blanket.
Yes, it becomes a coping mechanism, a way to self-soothe. And that brings us to our third main point. How do we even begin to change? What's the very first crucial step to getting rid of a bad habit? Because it can feel incredibly overwhelming, like a huge mountain to climb when you look at the whole picture.
Absolutely. That feeling of being overwhelmed is real. In my opinion, the very first and most critical step is awareness. You literally cannot change what you don't acknowledge or even fully understand. So it's about really taking a moment, slowing down, and identifying the habit. When do you do it? Why do you do it? What are the triggers, and how does it make you feel, both in the moment and afterwards? Sometimes we do these things almost unconsciously.
That's so important. It's like shining a spotlight on it, bringing it from the subconscious to the conscious mind. For me, a personal example of this was my procrastination with chores and even some work tasks. I would always leave things until the absolute last minute. Cleaning, doing laundry, replying to important emails. And then I'd feel incredibly stressed, overwhelmed, and even guilty.
Oh, I know that feeling so well. The stress monster that comes from procrastination is real. So how did you become aware of it beyond just feeling stressed? What was your aha moment?
Well, I started to notice a clear pattern. Every Sunday night, I'd be rushing to do laundry for the week, feeling terrible, angry at myself. I also noticed how much mental energy it took just thinking about the undone tasks throughout the week. That mental load was heavier than the actual task. So the awareness came from paying attention to the consistently negative feelings associated with the procrastination, and also just observing myself without judgment, like a scientist.
That's a great insight, to observe yourself without judgment. And then, once you're aware, what's next? Because awareness alone isn't always enough to spark real change, right?
Exactly. The next part of that first step is finding your motivation, your strong why. Why do you truly want to break this habit? Is it for your physical health, your mental peace of mind, to improve your relationships, to save money, or to have more free time? That deeper motivation, that why, has to be stronger than the temporary comfort or pleasure of the bad habit.
Yes, the why is absolutely crucial. If your why is weak, if it's just because I should, you'll probably go back to the habit very quickly when things get difficult. For me, with the late night phone scrolling, my why was simple and powerful. I was perpetually tired. So tired in the mornings. And my eyes hurt from the bright screen light. It was seriously affecting my whole day, my focus, my mood. So my why was feeling more energetic, more focused, and generally happier throughout the day.
That's a very clear and personal why. And once you have that, once you've really connected with your reason for change, you're ready for our fourth main point. What are some practical, actionable strategies for actually breaking these habits? Because wanting to change is one thing, but consistently doing it is a whole other challenge.
Okay, this is where it gets really practical and actionable. My number one strategy, based on a lot of research and personal experience, is starting small. Don't try to change everything at once. If you want to stop eating junk food, don't say, "I'll never eat a chip again." That's too overwhelming and rarely works. Instead, say, "This week, I'll only have chips once." Or, "I'll replace my evening snack with a piece of fruit on Mondays and Wednesdays." These are what some people call atomic habits, tiny, manageable steps.
That's excellent advice. The small steps approach, like with my procrastination, instead of saying, "I'll do all the chores right away when I get home," which felt like a massive task, I started with, "I'll just put away my shoes and coat and maybe sort 5 pieces of mail for 5 minutes right after work." And surprisingly, sometimes those 5 minutes turned into 10 or 15, and I actually got more done than I thought. It breaks the inertia.
Yes, it builds momentum and makes the task less daunting. And another huge strategy is replacement. You mentioned this earlier, Tony, and it's vital. Instead of just trying to stop doing something, replace it with something else. If you stop scrolling your phone at night, what will you do instead? Read a physical book? Listen to a podcast or music? Journal? Call a friend? The brain needs something to do in that empty space.
That's absolutely key. The brain hates a vacuum. If you just remove a habit, you create an empty space, and the old habit, or another equally bad one, might just rush back in. So for my procrastination, I started replacing the thinking about chores and feeling bad time with doing a small chore time. Or sometimes, I'd replace it with a short, enjoyable activity like listening to one song to reward myself for doing a tiny task, which then made me feel ready to do more.
Smart. Positive reinforcement. Another powerful strategy is identifying your triggers. What makes you start the bad habit? Is it a certain time of day? A specific place? A feeling like boredom, stress, or loneliness? Is it certain people or situations? If you know your triggers, you can plan around them or avoid them. For my phone habit, the trigger was often boredom after dinner, or seeing one notification pop up and then getting completely sucked in.
So once you identified that trigger, how did you deal with it specifically?
Well, I started by making it harder to do the bad habit. I started charging my phone in the kitchen overnight instead of next to my bed. Out of sight, out of mind, literally. And I also started doing something else right after dinner, like going for a short walk outside or making a calming cup of herbal tea and just sitting quietly for a few minutes, maybe sketching. That helped break the immediate connection between dinner and phone scrolling.
That's a fantastic real-life example of changing your environment and also having an immediate replacement. Make the good habit easy and the bad habit hard. And what about accountability? Do you think having someone else involved helps?
Oh, absolutely. Telling a friend or family member about your goal can make a huge difference. They can support you, remind you gently, and even celebrate your progress. It adds an extra layer of motivation because you don't just want to let yourself down, but also them. Or, there are many apps for habit tracking that can keep you accountable too, sending you little reminders and showing your progress streaks.
That's so true. I remember when I wanted to exercise more consistently, I told my brother, and then he would text me, "Did you go for your run today?" And sometimes just that question was enough to get me off the couch. So we've talked about what habits are, why they're hard to break, the importance of awareness and motivation and practical strategies. But what happens when we mess up? Which we inevitably do, because we're only human. That's our fifth and final main point: dealing with setbacks and staying motivated when things don't go perfectly.
This is so incredibly important, Tony. Because nobody breaks a habit perfectly on the first try, or even the 100th. It's not a straight line, it's more like a winding path. There will be days when you slip up. You might go back to the old habit, even after weeks or months of progress. And the absolute key is, don't beat yourself up. Don't let one mistake ruin everything.
Yes, the self-blame is so easy to fall into. Oh, I'm a failure, I can't do this, I'm just not strong enough, and then you just give up completely. It's like you eat one slice of pizza when you're on a healthy eating plan, and you decide your whole diet is ruined, so you just eat terribly for the rest of the week, thinking, what's the point?
Exactly. That's the trap. Instead, practice self-compassion. Treat yourself like you would a good friend who made a mistake. Say, okay, I slipped up. That's okay. What did I learn from it? What triggered it this time? And how can I get back on track right now, in the very next moment, not tomorrow, not next week? It's about getting back up immediately, not staying down, and letting the guilt consume you.
And remembering your why is crucial here too, isn't it? When you're feeling demotivated or you've had a setback, go back to that original strong reason you wanted to change. For me, with the chores and procrastination, if I had a bad week and let things pile up, I'd remember how much calmer and less stressed I was when things were organized. That little memory, that feeling, would push me to start again, even with just one small task.
Absolutely. Reconnect with that core motivation. And also, celebrate the small wins. This is so incredibly motivating and often overlooked. Did you manage to not check your phone for an hour? Great. Did you choose fruit instead of chips for one snack? Fantastic. Acknowledge your progress, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. It reinforces the positive behavior and makes you feel good, which encourages you to continue.
That's a fantastic point. It gives your brain that little reward it craves, but for the right behavior. It's like training your brain to enjoy the new positive habit. Wow, Jenny, this has been such an insightful and practical conversation. I feel like I've learned a lot, and hopefully our listeners have too. I know I'm going to try some of these strategies again for my own habits.
Me too, Tony. It's always a good reminder to reflect on our own habits and be kind to ourselves in the process. So, for our listeners, let's give them our 3 key takeaways from today's episode. What are the most important things to remember as they start their own habit-breaking journeys?
Okay, here are 3 key takeaways for getting rid of bad habits. First, start small and be patient. Don't try to change everything at once. Small, consistent steps lead to big changes over time. Remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Progress, not perfection.
Second, replace, don't just remove. Instead of simply stopping a bad habit, find a positive, healthier behavior to do instead. Fill that empty space with something good and beneficial for you. Your brain needs a new shortcut.
And third, be kind to yourself. Setbacks are a normal and expected part of the journey. Don't let one slip-up make you give up completely. Learn from it, forgive yourself, and get back on track immediately. Every day is a new opportunity to try again.
Excellent summary, Tony. Those are really actionable and inspiring points. It's about consistent effort and self-compassion. We can all do it.
Exactly. Well, that's all the time we have for today's episode of Learning English with Podcast Conversation. A huge thank you to Jenny for sharing her wisdom, personal experiences, and fantastic advice with us.
It was my absolute pleasure, Tony. Always great chatting with you and connecting with our listeners.
And to our listeners, we hope this episode inspires you to take that first small step towards breaking a habit that isn't serving you. We'd love to hear from you. What bad habits are you trying to break? Or what strategies have worked wonders for you? Share your stories in the comments below or reach out to us on our social media. You can find us as Learning English with Podcast Conversation on YouTube and other platforms.
Yes, please share. Your experiences and insights can help others too, and that's what this community is all about. And remember, every step forward, no matter how tiny, is a victory worth celebrating.
That's a perfect note to end on, Jenny. Thank you again, everyone, for listening. We'll be back next time with another engaging conversation to help you learn and grow. Until then, keep learning and keep growing. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone. Take care and good luck with those habits.